Solomon is considered the richest and wisest king who ever lived on earth because he held the secret of success in his hands. And the good news is that this secret was not kept hidden. He shared all his advice and teachings through his Proverbs. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 3, shows that the Lord appeared to him in a dream and told him that he would give him anything he wanted. So Solomon chose to receive wisdom, understanding, and discernment among men. And because of this, in today's video, I will reveal to you the 5 greatest teachings of King Solomon, which, if you apply them in your daily life, can completely change your life. If you want to discover these teachings, watch this video until the end. Alright? So go ahead and click like, subscribe to my channel, and activate the notification bell because I want to help you in your walk with God every day and explain the Bible to you in a very easy way, okay? So let's get started. The first teaching is, seek wisdom more than money. Brothers, this is a truth that King Solomon experienced, and for this reason, he shared it with us in Proverbs chapter 3, verses 13 and 14. Look at what is written. Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who gain understanding, for she is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. While many people waste their time looking for easier ways to achieve their goals, Solomon is teaching us that seeking knowledge first is much more rewarding. This means that wisdom is the best path to make your goals come true. And Solomon knew what he was talking about because he reaped many good fruits because of his wisdom. Moreover, he said that he found happiness through knowledge. I know that many desire to have the success that others have, but very few want to go through the same path to get there. For example, a successful soccer player spends hours and hours training to keep their physique in shape. The musician, to become excellent, needs to invest time in learning to play the notes of their instrument. A good preacher invests their time daily in studying the Word and nurturing their relationship with the Lord. In other words, there is no easy path to success, and it only becomes a reality when accompanied by our efforts. What King Solomon is telling us is that when you make an effort to seek knowledge, great opportunities will begin to arise before you. Amen. The second teaching of King Solomon is, know your limitations and strive to be a better person. Many people believe that the wisdom Solomon received from God was given to him immediately, but the truth is that God placed tools and situations in Solomon's path for wisdom to be developed in his heart. The Bible tells that Solomon assumed the kingship of Israel while still very young, even though he knew he was not ready for a task with such great responsibilities. And when he recognized his limitations, he sought to learn how to overcome them. It is highly probable that Solomon sought guidance from his father David on how he should govern. And in the same way, this happens in our lives. The first step to learning is to acknowledge that we do not know everything and that we have much to learn. Solomon asked for wisdom to govern, and the Lord showed him the best instructors and counselors. This is what he reveals to us in Proverbs chapter 19, verse 20, when he says, listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end, you will be counted among the wise. Amen. Many people think they know everything and have formed opinions on various subjects. Unfortunately, they feel offended when they receive advice or instructions because they believe their knowledge is sufficient. The truth is that God allows us to go through difficult situations so that our learning becomes a testimony in our lives, and we can help others. The Apostle Paul said that tribulation produces perseverance, and perseverance produces character. Older people often carry precious advice and teachings because they have experienced various situations throughout their lives. Imagine how much pain and suffering could have been avoided if we had listened to the advice of our parents or grandparents. In fact, this is precisely what Solomon wanted to teach us when he spoke about accepting instruction. By accepting advice, we begin to see the situation differently and from different points of view. We gain wisdom to make sound decisions. So my brother, do not despise the advice of the elderly, okay? So let's go. The third teaching, have patience and perseverance. The Temple of King Solomon was undoubtedly one of the grandest works of his reign, and for this reason, its construction took about 7 years to be completed. You might think that achieving a goal in 7 years is a long time, but the truth is that all dreams and goals need to stand the test of time. Look at what Solomon wrote in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 1. There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. Amen. For every dream and goal you set for your future, there is a determined time. But are you willing to persevere and face difficult situations until your dream comes true? Many times, we want to give up midway due to challenges, insecurity, and fear. But the great secret, brothers and sisters, is to recognize that all of this is part of the process. Present your objectives to the Lord and believe that He will make everything work together for your good. The finish line may take years to cross, but the important thing is to keep moving forward. Amen. The fourth teaching, seek God while there is time. See what Solomon said in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verses 1-3. Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the days of trouble come and the years approach when you will say, I find no pleasure in them, before the sun and the light and the moon and the stars grow dark, and the clouds return after the rain. In this passage, Solomon is talking about the aging process of our bodies and how it can affect our communion with God. He begins the chapter by encouraging us to remember the Creator during our youthful days. This refers to the decisions we make during our time on earth. Most of the decisions that shape many aspects of adult life are made while we are young. When someone makes hasty decisions or does not reflect enough on the matter, they often face problems in the future. Unfortunately, many only realize this when it is already too late. Solomon is urging us to seek God while we still have time and disposition. Only then can we make the best decisions and have a blessed future. Amen. And the fifth teaching, live a life of obedience. Solomon began to seek God more and came to understand the path we must follow to live a life of obedience. See what he wrote in the book of Proverbs, chapter 6. There are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a false witness who pours out lies, and a person who stirs up conflict in the community. See this, my brothers and sisters. It is necessary to distance oneself from what the Lord does not approve. God detests the heart of a person who is always plotting to do evil, seeking revenge, or causing suffering to others. Know that feelings of revenge, envy, and pride should not be part of the life of a person who has already surrendered their life to Jesus. Living a life of obedience to God is one of Solomon's great teachings, as he reaped the fruits of this wise choice. However, he also experienced the bad fruits that come from disobedience. We know that despite his great wisdom, Solomon was a human being like any other, and thus he also made mistakes during his life. The wisest king that ever lived ended up suffering greatly because of his disobedience to God. In the book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, we see that Solomon's great weakness was his passion for foreign women. But the Lord had already warned him not to get involved with these women, for they would lead him away from the presence of the Lord. And see what happened to him in verses 3 and 4. He had 700 wives of royal birth and 300 concubines, and his wives led him astray. As Solomon grew old, his wives turned his heart after other gods, and his heart was not fully devoted to the Lord his God, as the heart of David his father had been. See this, brothers and sisters. Such a wise man allowed himself to be carried away by his passions, and disobedience caused him to lose communion with the Lord. Despite being a great mistake, this is also a valuable lesson we can learn from Solomon. When we give space to sin, our hearts drift away from God. Solomon faced many consequences because of his sin, but God always tried to warn him to return to the path of obedience. Unfortunately, his heart was already corrupted, and he decided not to obey the Lord until the day of his death. The peace that was in his reign came to an end with the emergence of enemies and many adversaries who brought great problems to his government, and a very sad end for someone who started so well and enjoyed the rich blessings of the Lord, but could not remain faithful until the end. Therefore, I want to conclude this video with the verse that Solomon wrote in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 12 verse 13, which serves as great advice we should carry throughout our lives. It goes like this. Now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. Amen. If you liked this message, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel. May God bless you. See you in the next video. Big hug.